I have finished creating div tags for all of the images on my page, and I've renamed the div tags. I have put the images inside. Before we go on, I'm moving back to my code view to remind you that Dreamweaver, every time you create and draw an AP div on your page and you rename it, it's recording that as a style. So I have, for example, at the top, a div tag that I had renamed banner. And sure enough, over in my code, I can see that a style was created called banner, position absolute. It's 139 pixels from the left. It is right at the top at 0 pixels. It's 659 pixels wide, and so on. So any change that I make to this, if I decide to move this around for some reason, and let me just refresh the page a bit, those changes are recorded in the style sheet. So Dreamweaver is actually helping you out quite a bit by writing those styles for you. So the images are pretty straightforward. The text is also done in the same way. And I'm going to start out by drawing an AP div for this little bit of text down here. So I will create the div tag, and as we've done before, I will rename this. Perhaps I will call it caption. And you know, for this one, I'm just going to type in some gibberish, meaning I'm simply, typing away, using the spacebar occasionally. Now, because this is right over the top of my text, I'm going to slide it off just so I can compare. So as I'm comparing, I can see that I have some differences in the style of font, the size of font, and maybe even the space between the lines of font, the line height. This is going to allow us now to add more information into this particular rule. So again, remember that when I drew this and I renamed a caption, if I look over in my style sheet, I have a rule called caption and all of the attributes about it, but I need to add more information to that so that I can start describing what I want the type inside of caption to look like. So make sure that you have your CSS Styles panel open, and if you don't, again, you can find it under Window, CSS Styles. So I have a style sheet. I can toggle that open and see all of the rules that have been created for me as I've been drawing them onto the page. Here's caption. I need to edit the caption rule to add more information to it. So there's a few different ways you can do that. You can double click on it. You can select the name and hit the yellow pencil to edit the rule. You can come up to the pull-down menu and choose Edit. So whatever way is the most comfortable for you. So I am in the CSS rule definition for caption, and I'm editing. And you're going to use this interface a lot. Right now, as we kind of move around our navigation on the left, and specifically if we were to move to positioning, it's echoing what we already knew about this particular div tag, that it's absolutely positioned, it's a certain width and height. What I need to do now, however, is move into the type category. So I can see that by default, Dreamweaver provided me with a serif font, but in my sample that was created for me in Photoshop, I have a sans serif font. So I'm going to adjust that right now by choosing a different font family. And I have these different font sets that I can use for now. Here's a Verdana, Geneva, sans serif. Let's try that. All right, seems a little bit large. So I will work with the font size. Let's try 12. maybe. That actually looks a little bit large. Let's try 11. Let's see if that gets any closer. It also appears as if there's a bit more spacing between the lines, which in the print world is called leading, but in the web world is called line height. So let's increase that number, something greater than 11. 14, let's try 15. Okay, maybe even more than that. How about 17? So you can see I'm just increasing the number and trying to match the sample. Okay, so that'll be close enough for now, and I can move that back into position. At this point, I want to make sure that I'm saving the file. We haven't saved very often. And after I've saved, you can hit the live button. I'm just telling you that I'm not going to hit the live button on my computer. That tends to shut Dreamweaver down. But if you were to hit the live button, you would see all of your graphics in place, and you would now see this text box in place. So instead, what I'm going to do is choose to preview this in one of the browsers. And I'm going to pick Safari. It'll take a moment. When you're both in the live view or when you're previewing in the browser, the nice thing about it is you're only seeing what you've put in Dreamweaver. You're not going to see the tracing image, so you can have a real record of your progress.